Antarctica is easily the least understood and the most mysterious of all Earth's continents in the 21st century. It's such a poorly understood place that most people alive today still don't even really have a solid grasp about Antarctica's true size or shape. Antarctica is the world's 5th largest continent, exceeding the sizes of Australia and Europe, and being closer in size to South America than any other continent. Antarctica is the largest continent in the world, with a distance from the Antarctic Peninsula to the other side of the continent is as far as the Canadian Arctic islands are to Mexico. And placed over Europe, Antarctica would stretch from the far northern reaches of Norway and Finland down to Iran and Iraq in the southeast and well past Ireland into the mid-Atlantic to the west. Antarctica is separated by the infamous Drake Passage, an expanse of water that is perhaps the roughest and most dangerous part of the world's oceans. This, combined with a collision of warmer water in the north and colder water in the south, results in powerful waves in the Drake Passage that can climb up to nearly 20 meters or 65 feet high during extreme weather scenarios. On average, across the entire continent, the Antarctic ice sheet stretches more than 2 kilometers thick from the surface we can observe down to the surface of the actual continental landmass. But at its thickest points, the ice on Antarctica can reach upwards of nearly 5 kilometers thick, which is nearly as thick as 6 of the Burj Khalifas in Dubai, the world's tallest building, all stacked on top of each other. This is why 61% of all the fresh water on the planet is locked away in Antarctica's ice sheet. And if the entire thing melted away into its liquid form, it would probably end up raising global sea levels by around 60 meters, which would be enormously catastrophic and result in the total obliteration of Florida and most of the US. Gulf and East Coast, the ice sheet of Antarctica is so thick and impenetrable that it's widely accepted that we know more about the surface of faraway worlds like Mars today than what's actually beneath the Antarctic ice sheet on the real planet. Surface of Antarctica. Most of the archipelagos and islands that exist in Lesser Antarctica are volcanic in nature, despite their appearances of frozen ice and glaciers atop of them. Mount Erebus, far to the east in Antarctica, is the highest active volcano on the continent and the southernmost active volcano on the planet, complete with a lake of molten lava within its inner summit crater that has been observable since the 1970s and the last erupted only a few years ago in 2020. The average year-round temperature around where Mount Erebus is located remains around -17 degrees Celsius. And during the Antarctic winter months between April and September, the temperature will never climb above -20 Celsius, and it'll sink to as low as -62 degrees Celsius in August, cold enough to cause frostbite to expose skin within minutes or to instantly freeze water. This is an environment that is incredibly hostile to life where you wouldn't expect to find very much of it. And yet, just beneath the surface of Mount Erebus is an entire new world that we've only seen once. And we've only just started to come to understand. Decades and centuries worth of hot steam produced by the Mount Erebus volcano have carved out a network of tunnels through the ice beneath the mountain. Within these subvolcanic ice caves, the temperatures are known to reach as high as 25 degrees Celsius or about 77 Fahrenheit. Warm enough for you or me to hang out down there in a t-shirt and shorts and be comfortable doing it despite being in the middle of Antarctica. And that means that the Antarctic subvolcanic cave systems could be warm enough to host all kinds of life that we may not even be aware of yet. There are 15 other active or semi-active volcanoes located across Antarctica that could contain similar warm steam-carved tunnels and caves beneath them all as well, meaning that there could be more than a dozen of these oasis-like ecosystems beneath the ice of Antarctica that we presently know virtually nothing about. Antarctica discovered a massive mountain range beneath the ice sheet that nobody knew about beforehand. It became known as the Gambertsev Mountain Range, named after the Soviet geophysicist Grigory Gambertsev. These mountains are roughly the same length and height as the Alps in southern Europe are, running for about 1,200 kilometers long, with peaks soaring up to as much as 2,700 meters high. They're also completely obscured from the surface because they are buried beneath more than 600 meters of ice and snowpack. And they are still far from the only interesting thing hidden beneath the ice of the continent. Also hidden beneath the surface of the vast Antarctic ice sheet are around 675 liquid subglacial lakes. The researchers have only started discovering since the 1990s, a little more than only 3 decades ago. Several of these liquid lakes have been discovered deeper than 3 kilometers beneath the surface of the Antarctic ice sheet, and by far the largest of them discovered to date is the infamously mysterious Lake Vostok, which was only discovered by a team of Russian researchers in the east of the continent in the early 1990s. An Arctic analysis of the lake's water sample has revealed kerosene contamination and outside bacteria contaminants that were present on the drill bit before it even reached the lake. 255, the Russian team apparently drilled another second borehole down from the surface into Lake Vostok in 2015 that they claimed was cleaner and more properly sanitized sanitized that resulted in another 1-liter sample of Lake Vostok's water being acquired, but the results on that water to date have never been published or reported on, so it's unclear what, if anything, they may have found. Most researchers involved with Lake Vostok expect that if life actually does exist down there, it'll be limited to simple life forms like bacteria, which might not really sound all that exciting or sexy. Additional Antarctic coastline representing the first scientific report of an unknown fish species that could possibly be existing down within Lake Vostok. It would be incredible to one day see a sea drone with a camera and light attached to it get deployed down into Lake Vostok to see more of what's actually down there, because based on a similar event that happened just a few years ago in 2021, the results could indeed be wildly unexpected. The team knew that a large cavern of liquid water existed about 500 meters beneath the glacier's surface here, carved out over time by a small flowing river beneath the ice. But when the team actually lowered a camera down into the hole they carved, down into the liquid water-filled cavern below, what they saw shocked everybody involved. They actually saw animals. Hundreds of them saw animals swimming around in the isolated cavern below. The team later identified these blurry orange blotches to be shrimp-like marine crustaceans called amphipods. And here in this cold, isolated cavern of water 500 meters beneath the ice and a whopping 500 kilometers away from the nearest sunlight, locked in complete darkness, were hundreds of these more complex life forms absolutely thriving. Practically nobody expected to find that much life down here. And so, what implications does that 2021 discovery have for what unknown life may be existing within Lake Vostok? The Antarctic ice sheet spans across a vast area that is roughly the same size as Mexico. And yet, to this date, humanity has only managed to actually witness a fraction of the unknown world that exists beneath the ice here. The human population of Antarctica ranges from as many as 4,000 people during the warmer Antarctic summer months to as few as only 1,000 people during the long, dark, and savagely cold Antarctic winters, the cool weather of Antarctica that keeps its population low. It's also just an insanely remote place that's really difficult to get yourself to. It's located down at the bottom of the globe, and the closest large human settlement to the continent is Ushuaia in far southern Argentina, which is still about 1,000 kilometers away from the tip of the Antarctic Peninsula.